Hey YouTubers, welcome back to the Playing Hard channel. I haven't done a video in quite some time, and there's a reason for that. I'm sure we've all had people in our lives that we wish weren't, and some of them can just suck the joy out of your life, and this is the problem that I've been having, and this is the reason I haven't been posting anything. I've got a next door neighbor I've had now for 3 years, and he bought this property from a friend of mine who passed away and left the house to his widow. His widow lived here for about 3 or 4 years, and then she finally sold to this guy. In November 2020, he bought the place. Within 3 weeks of him purchasing the property, within that 3-week period, he trespassed on my property several times, him and his family, just walking around the perimeter, bring his friends over, they do the same thing. I kind of ignored it in the beginning, and then I had to have a new driveway put in. And my driveway is 1/8 of a mile long, and as you can imagine, that's quite an expense to put in an 1/8 of a mile long driveway. So I did it. Driveway wasn't down for 3 days, and he drove his 60 horsepower tractor and woods mower over my property, dug up my lawn with the implement, and also dug a 2-foot long, 3-inch wide, 3-inch deep gouge in my brand new driveway. As you can imagine, I went berserk. I called the police. I wanted him charged with trespassing. Cop told me, well, you gotta give him one warning before you do all this. And you gotta put up 3 no trespassing signs, which I already had up. And you gotta send him a registered letter saying that you don't want him to do that anymore. Well, okay, so I played the game, I did it, but at least I got a report number on the situation. So I, had documented that. So that was in November. We talked a little bit in October, and, finally got to meet each other in person. And I told him, I said, if there's anything that you need, and it has to do with the property, because I know everything about the property because my parents used to own it. If there's anything you need to know, just give me a holler and I'll help you out with it. To which he agreed. He gave me a half-ass apology for what he had done to my driveway, which still didn't sit well with me, but I got a bad feeling from him to begin with. And so I started documenting everything in the early stages of when he was here in 2020, when he first came here in 2020. So this was November. It went through that winter, and he had 23 dead standing trees on his property. And 2 of them had already fallen over on my property, to which I had to cut up and, get rid of. But he had 23 trees left that were still dead, standing, and leaning towards my property. So, upon the advice of an attorney, I made out a letter to him, sent it by registered letter, that he had 23 dead standing trees, and that, I wanted them removed before they did more damage to my property. Well, find out from another attorney, so that's really only for physical liability. In other words, if you were walking along the property and a tree fell on you, he says, if they still fall on your property, you're still going to have to remove them yourself. Well, he promised that he'd remove the trees, and he gave me a date, which was like in May. And nothing got done. And in that time period, another 2 trees had fallen on my property, to which I sent him another text that said, we got to do something with this. I'll come over and help you pull the trees down, because I have a winch on my Jeep. We'll pull the trees down on your side of the property. That way that you can take care of them when you see fit or you have time. No, he didn't want to do that. He gave me another date. The first date he gave me was in May that he'd do it. Next one was like in July that he'd do it. Then he said October. So November rolls around, he still hadn't done anything. So I sent him back his latest reply from October that he was going to have it done by the end of October. Of course, all these dates that he set up, he lied about every one of them. every one of them. And then he says, well, this is not my priority. I really don't care. So he said, well, if one falls on your property, let me know and I'll come over and remove it. Well, that'd be fine if he was a tree guy, but he knows nothing about tree removal. And so in the process of the next tree that fell, he used his tractor with a set of forks. Now, not a grapple on the front of his tractor, but forks to try to bring this tree down. Well, in the process, he dropped it like 15 times, totally destroying my fence for like 40 feet. To which I really got pissed off again and sent him another letter. Said, you know, we hire professionals because they know what they're doing, and obviously you don't. Just because you own a chainsaw and a tractor does not make you a farmer or a tree man. Well, that just lit him off. So then he's telling me, your property looks like crap and your fence looks like crap, and, you know, I'm not concerned about that, and that's not, wow, you know. Okay, so you see over my shoulder, and I can see what he's saying, you know, if it looks like crap. I could see where he'd be pissed off, right? You know, about me just, you know, not having any sort of idea about how to take care of my property. You know, I could see why he's mad. I mean, look at this. There's a real reason that this is happening, right? See all the trees? Well, he might have a point. If this was my property. It's not my property. This is my property. As you can see, I have quite a bit of pride in how my place looks. I keep it well cut. I keep everything pruned. This is my property. This is his property. All right, this is going to run too long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this apart into a few segments. But as you can see, you know, this is all the destroyed fencing. This is how he leaves his property. So I'll get back with you guys in a little bit. I'm trying not to let this get me upset, but it does upset me. As you can imagine, it would you too. Okay, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Hey, thanks for watching.